Tell Mary you do Airborne. I swear by it. Yeah, Airborne got sued about 10 years ago. They had to pay out a huge class action lawsuit because it's all made up. So I think it's largely that they still sell it. A lot of people do swear by it. I think the vibe on Airborne is it's largely the placebo effect. If you think it's doing something for you, it might. But the Airborne, they had like one clinical trial when they rolled out Airborne 20 years ago or something, and it wasn't peer reviewed or anything, and they got sued because whoever invented it, it was like a second grade teacher or something, just wrote on, and it helps shorten your cold. Nobody checked it out or anything, so they had to pay a lot of money about a decade back.
I think they had to put on the package, like, not scientifically proven.
Right.
Or something like that.
Well,
it's like, hey, none of this is backed up.
It's also, all of those supplements have to say that, right? They're like, yeah, there's a difference between FDA approved and FDA supported, something like that. There's some fine print that all these things go through, but they have to tell you, obviously, in the legalese. That like, hey, horny goat weed has not been scientifically studied or anything. Do what you want to do with it. But celebrity deaths keep coming. Pete Rose died. John Amos died. Remember John Amos?
Yeah.
He was the dad on Good Times. He was Mr. McDowell in Coming to America.
2, he was that, yeah.
Yeah, he was a bad guy in Die Hard 2. I thought John Amos died 10 years ago, but John Amos, dead at 84, passed away at his home in Los Angeles. Natural causes. Back in the day, though, he was the guy that started McDowell's, right?
Yeah.
They've got, McDonald's has the golden arches. I have the golden arcs.
Yeah.
They've got the Big Mac. I've got the Big Mick. And it was the running thing. It was Eddie Murphy's girlfriend's dad, or the girl that the American girl that he was sweet on. Her dad was played by John Amos. But when I was a kid, there was a sitcom on called Good Times. And it was groundbreaking because it was like a black family. I think it was set in Chicago, but I don't remember. But it was like this black family. And I don't know that there had ever been a sitcom like that. And it was on for 6 or 7 seasons. And he did a lot of different work. He was initially a football player. He signed to the Denver Broncos in the late 60s. And then Pete Rose died. Pete Rose, who was he's still the all-time hits leader in Major League Baseball. He's got a lot of other records. But it was 1985, September the 11th, before we all had September the 11th. Boy, you think about Pete Rose. Here's a guy who passed Ty Cobb's hitting record on September 11th, 1985. And then flash forward to 2001, and nobody's talking about Pete Rose's all-time hitting record anymore because of other things that happened on September the 11th. What I'm trying to say is, Bill, Pete Rose is the real victim of 9/11. Anyway, he ended his career with about 4,300 hits.
Everybody on their feet here in Cincinnati and a worldwide television audience watching here at Riverfront Stadium. 2-1 pitch from Schaub into left center. There it is. Rose has eclipsed Cobb. That's number 4,192. For Pete Rose, this certainly his crowning achievement. And for baseball, a game that grows from its past and finds warmth in statistics, this is one of the all-time great moments.
I guess if you're that guy, if you're the announcer, you have that written out, right? Because you know that Pete Rose is going to break the record. So you have something dumb written out about warming yourself with baseball or whatever. Because if you're calling the game, that's part of your broadcast history, too. I always think of Pete Rose, and it sounds silly because he's clearly most associated with the Reds. He was part of that Big Red Machine thing back in the day, and he bookended his career with the Reds. But I always think of him with the Phillies. And he was only with a handful of teams. I think he did one season in Montreal when the Expos were there. But other than that, he got the lifetime ban from baseball, and in the early 90s. Because there were rumors that he had bet on the Reds. And he denied it for a long time, but then he had to admit it. About
And
20
he was
years.
like a manager at the time, right? He was like affiliated with the team while he was betting on them.
Yeah. He was like a player manager.
That was
yeah.
the problem.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. But from Cincinnati, so he's playing for his hometown team.
Mm-hmm.
Did you bet on baseball?
Yes, I did, and that was my mistake, not coming clean a lot earlier. I was wrong. I just stupid. Worst thing I ever did in my life. I bet on baseball in 1987 and 1988.
Did you bet on your own team?
Yes.
Did you ever bet against your own team?
No. That'd be the last thing I'd ever even consider. That's because I want to win every game.
I mean, what do they always tell you when you're a little kid? You've got to bet on yourself because nobody else is gonna. Bet on yourself. Why don't we extend that to Major League Baseball or to professional sports? What's the matter with betting on your own team? They should make that legal. It's okay to bet on your own team. Now, if you bet against, you're going to be a stinker. But, I mean, if bet on your own team, what's the matter with that? I still don't understand what the matter with that is. Because I think you're going to manipulate something? I mean, you're trying to win every game. So if you bet on your team and you win, all right. If you bet on your team and you lose, you lost. Well, I don't understand. Does anybody understand this?
I don't know.
I understand it's one of the rules. You're not supposed to bet on your own team.
Do that. I think you should be able to bet on your own team too.
Of course. Why not?
Because you have a vested interest in it.
Yes, you have a vested interest in winning.
You have a vested interest in winning.
Or
as
you have a vested interest in losing if the odds are better. If you're going to make more money betting on your own team if your team loses.
No,
But
you
how
have
are
to
you
bet
gonna
on
make-
your team to win.
Yes.
You can only do that.
You
But
can't bet against your team. You have to only bet on your team to win. And I mean, who was the dude in basketball who just got kicked out because he bet against?
I can't
his
remember
team?
his name, but
It can complicate things because then you're like, okay, hey, let's say I put $1 million down on this game if the Reds win. And if the Reds win, I get a payback of $10 million. And then you go to the Reds are facing the Guardians. You go to a player on the Guardians. You're like, hey, throw this game. I'll give you 2 of my $10 million.
No, you can't do that.
No, you can't do
But
that.
I'm saying
obviously,
betting on your
but-
own team
Well,
can lead
We're
to
talking.
other stuff like
we are
that.
talking about just a situation where you're just betting on your own team.
But do
You're
you
not
see how
involved
it
in anything.
opens the
Of
doors?
course, I
That
see
is
all
exactly
That's
yes.
why.
But
That's
why-
obviously
yes.
that's why it's
we are
illegal.
doing a bit.
I can't understand your guys' bits anymore.
No, it's just no.
I was off on the bits yesterday, too. I'm trying to meet you guys with facts.
It's
and I'm like,
okay.
no, guys, this is not how it works.
Right. No, you are correct. That's precisely why it's illegal. I think they should go from now
We're
on.
being preposterous.
I'm like, I can't believe they don't get it. Like,
They don't get it.
How do they not understand why this is so problematic? How do you not get it?
This is what they talk about, Bill, when they're putting radio shows together back in the day. They'd be like, and then she's going to be the voice of reason.
Yeah.
Between the two crazy guys. She's the voice of reason.
Is that my job?
No, it's not your
it's
job.
Not your job, obviously.
When they
I
would.
am the voice of reason. Are you kidding me?
Well, no, clearly
Okay,
you
Miss
are.
Fate Lady.
I'm just saying I don't. I understand why they did that because why contend with people constantly betting? I get it. You're just muddying the waters. I'm just saying logically, betting on your own team is
just
what
team spirit.
is what everybody's trying to do. They're out there working their ass off trying to get the wins. And so you're always either, you're not doing it financially, but, there's guys who get bonuses if they do well enough in certain data points, right? They were talking about Jose Ramirez. He would have been in that 40-40 club had he gotten just a couple more runs, I think, or a couple more. Oh, he had to get 1 home run, I think. And they ended up canceling the last regular season game because of the rain. So he didn't get it.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
So big picture, that game didn't mean the Guardians meant a lot to him,
Right.
And I don't know if there was money tied up in that, but a lot of these guys, when their agents putting their deal together, they're it's like the dude for the Pirates that they pulled, so they didn't have to pay him $200,000. So. And there were always questions about whether or not Pete Rose should have been, because they said he was permanently ineligible for the Baseball Hall of Fame, right? But they refer to him as having a lifetime ban. So now that he's dead, is the lifetime ban lifted?
I think they should have let him in years ago just because they should have lifted the ban. They punished him. They made their point. But the guy, he got the most hits.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Charlie Hustle. They call him Charlie Hustle, Mary.
You know, there's a lot of other off-the-field stuff that isn't all that great about Pete Rose. He's got some skeletons in his closet when it comes to underage girls.
Yes,
obviously his barber is terrible.
Yeah, the dumbest haircut in Major League Baseball. And when he was playing, there were a lot of dumb haircuts, and he still took the gold.
Mm-hmm. But the guy could hit a baseball.
He still holds the all-time hit record, all-time games played record. I thought that was Cal Ripken.
No, that's consecutive games.
Oh, consecutive games. Pete Rose holds the MLB record for games played, 3,562. The record for at-bats and singles and outs. But his name is infamous. Gambling on games as a player and a manager. So, yes, I understand where they're coming from, but I'm like, boy, if you're going to let people bet on your own team.
Yeah.
So he is he's literally satisfied.
Mary, why shouldn't he be able to do that again?
No, he should. You guys convinced me. He should be able to. It's just team spirit. That's all that it is pride.
Now that he's dead, he has literally satisfied the terms of his lifetime ban.
Right.
So he should be let into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Listen, I have a lifetime ban from the Spaghetti Warehouse in Syracuse, New York, okay? But when I die, they're not going to know. They're not going to care. So put Pete Rose into the Hall of Fame, Cooperstown. Put him in there. Yes, he had some issues here and there, everywhere. And there is, they say permanent ineligibility. Okay. That would be different than a lifetime ban. But permanent ineligibility. First of all, it's hard to say. Second of all, put him in there. Because he's not going to be in the Haircut Hall of Fame.
No.
That much
Bad Haircut Hall of Fame. First ballot.
That much is absolutely. Ballot. Yeah, he goes right in.
Mm-hmm. Oh, who else is in the Bad Haircut Hall of Fame? The guy that owns the Raiders.
Al Davis, what's his name?
That's his son. Al Davis was his dad.
Mark Davis?
Mark Davis,
yep.
Yeah. Who else? Who else goes into... Who's got a bad haircut?
I don't know any... I've never seen a bad haircut. Not one.
I mean, Cuban doesn't have great hair. I mean, his hair looks like it's
Mark
sprayed
Cuban's
on.
always been pretty bad.
It kind of sprayed on.
I think Trump's in there.
Oh, I thought you meant sports.
No, I'm talking about just
I was
bad
thinking
haircuts
sports
in general.
I see.
Just anybody. This is, it's the Bad Haircut Hall of Fame.
Gotcha.
There's different sections where it's like, these are the sports people, these are the, actors and actresses, politicians and stuff like that.
Kim Jong-un.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a very good one.
I mean, it depends. There's a lot of dudes rocking mullets. It depends on if you think, there's differing points of view on whether or not a mullet is considered a bad haircut.
Also, Trump's hair is not his hair. That's a piece, isn't it?
Paid for it.
Yeah. I don't know what the structural situation
whatever it is,
on
it
his
still
hair.
doesn't. It's all over the place.
You'd think if you
It
had a
looks
piece,
weird.
you'd specifically make it look good.
Yeah. I think it's like a lot of hair plugs and comb over and stuff like
I
that.
remember in the early 2000s, I had just gotten to Pittsburgh, and we had a guy in the Steelers named Jeff Reed. I used to see this guy in public, and he had like bleach blonde, spiky hair, like he looked like the drummer from Korn or something.
Mm-hmm.
And but it was the early aughts. Didn't look that weird, but it wasn't a great cut.
Oh, I'd put Adam Duritz in the 90s in there.
With the dreadlocks?
Yeah. White guy dreadlocks.
Yeah, but is he white? Adam Duritz?
Isn't he?
From the Counting Crows?
Isn't he?
I mean, if he's not, he certainly looks like he could. I didn't think Adam Duritz was white.
I don't even know who that is.
The front man for the Counting Crows. Maybe he is. I don't know. To me, he always looked like he was
he could be
something less
mixed
than
with someone, yeah.
Caucasian.
I don't know. It really the hair does a lot because like when you see him without he looks like a pretty regular. He looks very Jewish.
A Russian Jew American.
Ashkenazi? Is that what you're? I don't know what he is. I don't.
It says Russian Jew American on
really?
JewishCurrents.org.
Jewish. Well, yeah, I knew he was Jewish, but I mean, he looked like. I don't know. I guess I didn't really think of it. I've got money here. It's $1,000, courtesy of the Buzzard bookie. First couple of days of this.
He has some bad. There's some years where the dreads looked okay, and there's some years where they look real bad.
Well, but I think when he finally got rid of him, like his head is shaved now, and I'm like whatever you thought about his dreads, the shaved head ain't it.
Yeah.
But the dude's like 60 now.
Right.
You can't be rocking the dreads forever. I get it. But those dreads got him in a lot of places. It got him indoors. It got him in Jennifer Aniston.
Mm-hmm.
It got him in who else? It got him in a lot of places. $1,000 right here, courtesy of the Buzzard bookie. Listen closely. I hope you win.
This is your chance to bet with the Buzzard bookie and win $1,000 now. Enter this nationwide keyword at WMMS.com. Money. That's money. Enter it now at WMMS.com.
Alan, you were talking about how your White Sox set the modern-day record for the most losses, surpassing the 1962 Mets, which was, of course, the gold standard for terrible teams, and now the White Sox have surpassed them. But this person was telling me, don't sleep on, they're like, I know you like the names in sports, too. Don't sleep on the 62 Mets roster for good names. You got your Craig Andersons and your Galen Ciscos, but you also got your Clem Labines. You had Vinegar Bend Mizell. He was on the 62 Mets. Bob Moorhead. Choo Choo Coleman. Maybe that's as good as it gets. Ooh, Marv Throneberry. Remember him? Anyone? Hey, Juanita.
Wild Throneberries.
The Wild Throneberries, right.
Yes.
That was a reference to the 1962 Mets. Juanita, hello.
Yeah, I'm calling from St. Louis, and you guys were talking about the dock strike right before I walked into the Costco, and as I'm leaving the Costco, got some information for you. There's a little bit of panic buying going on. All the associates were talking about it, and then I interrupted somebody's conversation that was a customer that was talking about it with somebody else. People are panic buying. I didn't go in there with the intention of doing that, but it's a little weird how people are really freaked out by unions actually flexing their muscle. Like, I thought that we were supposed to be pro-union.
Well, no. Two things can be true. I mean, pro-union is great, but it also does affect things. So people have to be ready. I mean, doesn't mean you're not pro-union if you're going to make sure you got enough stuff, because there's going to be empty shelves if they don't figure it out. So, yeah, I mean, people still got to live their lives, you know. But
then there's like anger, of course, that comes from that, because now everybody's saying that they make too much money already, and now everybody has an opinion on all of these union workers.
Well, that's what they want. That's what the businesses that are negotiating with, they want to put that out there and be like, oh, they make too much money already. We can't give them more. That is a classic technique by the people with the billions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Panic buying is happening. Just wanted to let you know. Just kind of open my eyes to it.
Well, what did you?
Like I said, I was
Panic
listening.
at the Costco. Let's go, baby.
I was going to ask if anybody was panic buying baby oil, but Costco doesn't sell that, as we found out.
Yeah, what are they buying? Like paper goods?
This lady said that somebody had bought like 18 cases of water first thing in the morning, and it said it was because of that. And then I think that what happens is it just kind of starts to get out of control, you know? So
now, what were you there to pick up, Juanita?
Very specific items. I was there to pick up some probiotic little gummy fruit snacks that Costco has that are really good that I can only find there, and a gallon of milk. That was it.
So I have to assume probiotics for your gut health, and then the other end of that is the milk. You got them fighting against each other, right? Are you lactose intolerant and don't give an F?
No, I got a family, and they make a lot of protein shakes, and one of those protein shakers takes up like half a gallon of milk sometimes, so we're constantly going through milk. But The probiotic gummies, yes, they're the keep me regular.
That's why you gotta you make the smoothies with the water, baby.
Ew.
What? That's what I make mine with.
Extra flavor.
Oh, please.
A little creamy.
It's all that fat. Ugh, you're fat in your protein.
So annoying.
Okay, listen, Juanita, good luck out there. Thank you.
Love you guys.
Love you too. There's Juanita in St. Louis, right on the mighty Mississippi. So they got dock workers there. I would imagine there's people, that's why they're freaking out there in the loo. Like, what the hell are we going to do? People trucking all the way in from Soulard and Maplewood and Breckenridge Hills. I got to take a break. Hey, want to send me a text, 351